Hey!
Hey, hi.
Welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show.
Hello.
That's brutal. Just two patriotic girls. So please don't take us the wrong way. Not working.
Oh, you can push the buttons.
I can't push the buttons.
Oh, you can.
I'm too far away from the phone, the camera. That's like really far away. You see that?
It's not that far.
It's far.
Mm-hmm.
Your hand is right there. The buttons are on your side.
Yeah, it is.
So
I push the button.
I have to reach. I have to like move to turn it on and off.
Uh-huh. I have to move too, see?
You barely moved. I moved my whole body.
It's like 4 miles away.
4 miles?
4 miles in the snow, uphill. Takes forever to get there.
We're still rolling. Nah, to heck with it. Hey guys, how you doing today? That just happened.
Hi.
Should we leave that in there?
I don't know.
I don't either. Let's see. Roll the dice. Let's see what happens. Welcome to the Natasha
Hey, Debbie.
show.
Oh, I was supposed to say show?
And I'm Natasha, and that's Debbie. So now you know why it's called the Natasha and Debbie show, not the Sarah and Dan show.
Dan. I'm Dan. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Well, I mean, or Sarah and Ann show, right? Because that would be weird because that's not our names. Now you know why we called it the Natasha and Debbie show.
There you have it. The more you know.
Knowing's half the battle. We have an exciting video to do today that has been super requested by so many people for quite a while now. And we are people that deliver. So we're going to give that to you.
We are.
But before we do that, let's get some formalities out of the way.
If you like today's video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing.
It'd be great if you do. And if not, it's okay too.
And if you do subscribe, make sure you have that notification bell on. Why, Natasha?
I'm glad you asked, Debbie. This sounds so scripted, and I promise it's not.
So,
So we have a quick announcement to make. Normally we post on Sundays. And of course, Christmas is next Sunday. Happy early Merry Christmas. So we will not be doing a Sunday episode for Christmas. Okay. But we will be uploading a special Christmas episode on Saturday, next Saturday, Christmas Eve. So we hope that you'll join us for that. If you are paying attention to this message, in the comments, please say, go for Saturday. Okay? Or
put in the code.
Yeah, just put in the code. Go for Saturdays. Hopefully we'll see you then. Today's video. Let's get into this. You know we love our military.
That we do.
We love our allied nations.
We sure do.
And today is not any different. We are finally going to do a video and learn about the Gurkhas.
Yay!
It's been a while. It's been a while. We've talked about this for a long time. But we haven't done it. So we only know that they are from Nepal, and that's it. That's the extent of our knowledge.
That's right. I want to make sure we want to say thank you to all military.
Yes, all active duty servicemen and women and veterans. As always, thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
So we are going to learn now about the Gurkhas. So let's learn together, shall we? 2019.
This is Gurkha class of 2019. 400 trainee soldiers, the biggest intake to set foot in the UK in over 30 years. Most are just teenagers, and their journey began thousands of miles from here. Nepal. It's a small nation wedged between India and China, the mighty Himalayas running down its spine.
Ready?
Nice.
It remains one of the world's poorest and least developed countries, and for 200 years, the British Army have recruited some of its strongest young men, with the blessing of the Nepalese. Every year, 10,000 apply to join, pledging to fight and potentially die for a country and a queen on the other side of the world.
What?
It's a friendship like no other, a British Foreign Legion over 200 years old. With the UK's crisis in recruitment, we need them more than ever. But how do you find the very best Gurkhas? How do the British Army protect them from the corruption so rife in Nepal? And once in, is it all they dreamed of?
Gurkha company.
Well, I'm already intrigued. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, definitely.
you say 10,000 a year? apply?
10,000 apply.
Wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's pretty amazing.
Let's
They
find
are
them.
very young.
I know. I didn't know they were teenagers. That's kind of shocking. Where are you at? 2018.
The first stage of selection for the British Army takes place each year in September, one in the west of Nepal in Pokhara and one in the east, here in hot, sticky Dharan. Young men from all around get up in the early hours and travel miles to be here for a chance of a job in the British Army.
Today we got one hilly district, that's Dankuta, and we got 5 Tarai districts. Normally they're farming background, especially in Tarai district, they're farming backgrounds, and hilly district also farming background. But nowadays most of the boys from the hills do come down to the cities, near the cities, for a better education, better life, or probably better facilities as well. Yeah.
This year, the recruiting campaign was bigger than ever before. They advertised on every one of Nepal's 72 radio stations, and the recruiting officers, retired Gurkhas known as Gulawallas, travelled to all corners of the country, gathering young men together on football pitches, tennis courts and cafes. They modernised their website. Potential recruits, known as PRs, could even email Deputy Head of Recruiting Major Sandy Nightingale personally. And they did.
I do get quite a few emails from PRs asking some quite various questions, from are my teeth okay with photographic evidence to can women join this year? What we're trying to do is dispel the myth that only certain Nepalis can join the British Army. It's still amazing to me that people think it's only certain castes, people think that you have to be rich, people think all kinds of things that are all wrong. We will take anyone who's good enough. We make sure there's a British officer on every single stand as well, just so no one could think, oh, I'm a Gurung, he's a Rai, maybe he's going to give me a worse mark.
So he's saying people are thinking all kinds of things. I didn't even know about this.
No, I
had nothing to think about. This is interesting.
There are 125 castes or ethnic groups throughout Nepal, and historically, Gurkhas came from just 4 of these groups.
Oh, really?
Over the years, the army has succeeded in reaching more diverse sectors of society, in part thanks to its dedicated team of Gulawallas who go out in tireless search of the best young men. This year's newest and most baby Gulawalla, aged just 45, made a dramatic entrance, bringing in record numbers from the east.
Wow, I'm really enjoying my job.
I like this
Because
guy.
I want to do something for my countries, the British Army. Everybody know in the world, this is one of the best army in the world.
Now that right there, that guy just what a sweet man. He seems very humble. But just his thoughts right there. This is the best army in the world. That's just so cool. You can see the love right there. I'm loving this.
Very proud.
Plus he has an awesome mustache.
The world, this is one of the best army in the world.
Yeah, he has kind eyes.
Due to the searing heat, the 800-metre run has become the first test of the day, and the locals have turned out to cheer the boys on. Or perhaps eye up the competition.
Stand by. Go!
With the futures of so many potential recruits resting on the selection process, there is no room for human error.
Every single score that's written down gets checked by someone else. And I personally will check every single score of those who are selected. Then the Chief of Staff will check every single score of those who are selected.
Okay. Strict process for sure.
In order to understand fairness, you have to understand Nepali society generally. Nepal is a country where people pay money to get just about everything. And therefore, for us to kind of display ourselves as being free, fair and transparent, we have to go to huge lengths to convince people that that's the case. We'll tell them not to pay money to anyone to get into the British Army.
Okay.
The first exam is maths.
Similarly, in the exam hall, every question must be unique. By 3 p.m, the test paper will be in the local bazaar, being sold for a few rupees.
Really?
Wow.
Well, writing the papers is extremely difficult. We do keep them under strict lock and key, and then in order to generate those papers, to proofread those papers, to proofread them again and again, because if there are any dramas on the day, it is unfortunately a cohort of young boys who are going to suffer, and we do not want that to happen.
Okay, so far, I get why, of course, they're joining up now. They're trying to, have a better life for themselves, of course,
definitely.
too. But so it seems like everybody's really helping each other out here. This is my whole point, of why I love our countries. The U.S. military and the British military and allies. Just saying that everyone is there to help each other. I just love it. It makes me daggone happy.
And I do like how they made sure that to say, at least in the video, that
They're watching out for them.
They're watching out for them. There's no corruption. You can't buy your way in there.
Yeah, I like that too.
You have to earn it. It's something to be respected.
Yeah, and like I said, watching out for them to make sure they're not getting screwed over and taken either,
Right.
which is awesome. So, loving this.
One focus of this year's campaign has been to filter out potential problems early to avoid wasting recruits' efforts, emotions and money. Major Nightingale has introduced a new test to regional selection. Hyperextending elbows, some call it noodle arm, is an immediate fail, so this is now checked early. Throughout the day, if the recruits fall short on anything, they head straight to the dreaded Chowtari and then home.
These boys will give everything to try and get into the British Army. I'm not saying that a British soldier is not equally motivated to join the British Army, but the difference with these guys is their whole families put pressure on them to join the British Army. If they get into the British Army, their whole family's life will change forever.
Yeah.
And that's the context that we're working with. 1456 Nishchal. 1460 Prajwal. 1468 Pradeep Kumar.
It's like life, though, if you're fighting for something and, and somebody else is fighting for the same thing, the person who has more to lose is going to fight harder than the person who doesn't.
A lot of times, yeah.
And also, in a way, I don't know, but it gives me already a lot of feels, for these guys. And like where I pause this right here, it gives me a lot of feels for these guys, and I already have respect above my head. Yeah, already.
1470.
For some of today's young men, the news is devastating.
1499 Sugam. 1500 Sunil.
The recruiting staff are very protective of them. They won't allow anyone to speak to the potential recruits. Today is too important.
Smart.
The chosen few will be invited back to selection in January, where they'll compete for one of just a few hundred places.
Well.
Only 4% of the 10,000 applicants will make it.
What? Only 4% of 10,000? Okay.
Yeah. That's
dang
crazy. Yeah.
That's a hardcore number. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, it is. 4%. That's not many.
No. So that's a lot of broken dreams and broken hearts.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of that percentage come back and make it back through.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, how many if they can reapply.
They can, so they can back in January.
Okay.
But I wonder how many reapply and get through. That would be interesting to find that out. This is interesting. Very fascinating.
We'll make it. Gurkhas have been part of the British military for over 200 years, ever since the Anglo-Nepalese War, when the British were so impressed by the fighting skills of their enemy, they struck a deal to recruit them when the war was over.
Wait, what?
Since then,
that's how this started? Stop it.
Yeah, it seems like it.
So
they were enemies first?
Yeah, they were fighting against him, and they were so impressed, apparently, by how great they were at fighting. They're like, yeah, we want you guys. Okay, wow. That is cool.
That is awesome.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah. That's amazing that they recognize that in their enemy.
Wow. Now I see why you guys wanted us to watch this.
Yeah.
For so many reasons already. That's, come on, what a compliment, and what a trust that has to have been. We had a war with you, but now it's like, you guys are pretty daggone awesome. Can you come fight with us?
Exactly.
That's so freaking cool. That's the coolest thing I've heard.
That is.
I'm sorry, but that was awesome. That was cool. That was neat.
They struck a deal to recruit them when the war was over.
Didn't see that coming.
Since then, they've become one of the most feared units of the British forces and fought in every major conflict. the politest of soldiers, the most ferocious of fighters. Can today's recruits uphold a reputation centuries old?
It's like the one guy that was talking, I was saying he seems so humble. I can see that. I mean, I'm just one guy, I don't know.
South of the Himalayas and west of Kathmandu lies Pokhara, Nepal's second largest city.
No idea the population of Nepal.
It's the gateway to the Annapurna mountain range, a favourite spot for trekkers. But it's also home to final selection for the British Gurkhas.
Oh boy.
It's here that the recruiting team must choose once and for all who will become the future Nepali warriors. They've already been selected as the best of the best from their regions. Now they must undergo even more rigorous tests, not least of which is the infamous Doko race.
Why am I nervous? Are you nervous?
Yeah.
I took a big breath and then I felt or heard you sigh too.
I can't do a pull up, so I was holding my breath the whole time.
I could do one a while back. She just said something that they're getting ready to do and I didn't quite catch that.
Even more rigorous tests, not least of which is the infamous Doko race.
What's that? Hopefully they'll show. Oh!
The race involves running up a mountain in the Himalayan foothills with 25 kilos of sand in a basket strapped around the forehead.
It is our identity as a Gurkha and carry a Doko. Like we got the British Elite Force, like the Para, they got their own specific training. Like the commandos, they have got their own selection, and this is unique for the Gurkhas.
I was just going to ask, do the British soldiers have to do that too? That's hardcore.
Yeah.
I guess, okay. The respect was already here, now it's above. You can't see
25
it.
pounds of sand on your back, strapped to your head,
Yeah.
up mountain.
Nah.
No.
Nah. And that's hot. That's a hot land there.
Before, the sand is meticulously weighed and the Doko baskets carefully laid out.
Holy crap.
Each recruit must prepare his own.
In case of raining, they are covering their blanket by plastic. In case of rain, they will be heavier than usual weight.
I'm just.
And why the blanket?
A blanket because this one is quite rough, so they may scratch their skin at their backside.
How hard is the Doko race?
Hard.
It is very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Let's try it.
The Doko race was only introduced in 1989. Before that, most of the young men grew up in the mountains and did this daily.
What?
There was no need for a test.
Yeah. Jeez.
At 5:45 a.m, the potential recruits leave camp, gather their Doko baskets, and when enough light has risen,
Hello, finishing point. This is
What
start
does
point.
that
Over.
take?
the race begins.
Okay, group number 1. Blue, figure 34. Stand by. Go.
It is tough as a nature of the event because it is uphill from start to the end. So my tips for the boys is do not give up. Keep going and never look up. If you look up, obviously, your weight pull you towards the ground.
I was going to
and
say,
pull
could you
back.
look up anyway?
So always bend down and keep going up.
This
Wow.
last run was quite dodgy because of the weather. It rained the whole night,
Yeah,
and
no.
boys were wet this morning, and their Doko was wet. The terrain itself is difficult,
Yeah.
uphill, the steps, and stones and boulders, and the puddles.
Nah, dude, mass respect to the Gurkhas right now. I mean, severe respect to you guys. I don't know if anyone watching here, I can't remember what they said the Gurkhas were called when they're out of the. Well, that was the recruiting guys, I think.
That's when they're like,
Yeah, sorry. But if we have any people that are watching that were actually part of the Gurkhas, please let us know. And you're heroes.
Yes, you are.
Wow, they are hardcore for sure. Mass respect.
No time for water stops. The recruits must complete the course in 46 minutes. If they fail, they leave selection immediately.
Wow, dude.
At the top, it's time for a well-earned breakfast.
Yeah, I'd say.
And relief at last. The descent is less painful, the boys singing as they go. Selection is almost complete. It won't be long now until they know what their future will hold.
Crazy.
It's the night before results day for the potential recruits, or PRs, from the west of Nepal. And to ease the nerves, the recruiting staff have suggested they put on a show. Western Idol delights the judging panel.
They got skills.
It's clear that West's got talent.
You got skills and everything, huh? I might be in love with Gurkhas.
The next morning, it's a different story.
Yeah, nervousness.
The young men must now say their goodbyes. If successful, they're unlikely to see their newfound friends again. Many will be heading home. In a few moments' time, they'll be invited into a room one by one and told their fate.
We see a massive spectrum of Nepali society. You know, we have people from very, very poor backgrounds who are orphans. You see everything in that room, which is why we don't allow you guys to go in there. It means so much to them to get in, because a lot of them might have gambled everything on this. And, you know, it's quite a raw environment, actually.
Yeah, hard for you emotionally.
Yeah, well, I think everyone, really.
Yeah.
You know, we are obviously emotionally invested. It's impossible not to.
You can tell.
Yeah.
The minutes tick by painfully. The staff of Gurkha Company from Catterick survey from above. If the recruits are successful, they will bound up the stairs at 1,000,000 miles an hour before anyone can change their minds. There, they will become part of the British Army, and it's over to Gurkha Company to turn them into soldiers.
Wow.
Amongst the candidates is 20-year-old Madhav Karki. This is his fourth and final attempt, and his last chance to get in before he turns 21 and can no longer apply.
Okay.
Wow.
Everyone is nervous.
Oh, he better get in. I'm gonna be sad.
Outside the gate, the families wait, willing their sons not to appear through the railings. For those who've been unsuccessful, there is next year, if they are under 21 and can afford to make this journey again. If not, life will have to be very different. As Madhav Karki appears through the door, it looks to be good news.
Yeah?
I'm feeling very excited, and I'm feeling like I'm in the moon. So it's
Heck
my
yeah.
dream became true. So I'm feeling very happy. No one in my family, they are in the army. I'm the first guy in the British Army right now.
Good for you, sir.
You must feel so proud.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You're in the British Army, how does it feel?
It's my happiest moment of my life.
Really?
Yes.
That is awesome.
It's my dream come true, ma'am.
Have you tried before?
Yes, ma'am. This is my second year, ma'am.
And you remember what it felt like last year, so this must be so special.
Yes, I'm very happy, ma'am.
I hope you guys feel that, man. Like, we're Americans, right? We don't have them on our side as far as fighting with our. Well, they probably do. I take that back with British allies. Yeah. I didn't mean like that. I meant training with our people, whatever. But I'm feeling pride for them, and I just feel like so grateful.
So happy for them.
Yeah, so grateful for them, and seeing how much they really want to do this. You know, and it's not just.
Yeah, it's not like just going in and listening. They just go sign up and they take you in. I mean, they had to work hard for this,
and they're putting their lives on the line again. They're putting up the ultimate sacrifice too, knowing what can happen. I mean, this is amazing. These guys are amazing.
That is dedication.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, men.
Hello, Dai.
The first thing the boys are allowed to do is phone home.
Heck yeah.
We give the boys 4 phone calls throughout the selection process. So after each stage, so after the medical, after the physical, after the education, and when they're selected, they get a phone call. And that's basically so their parents hear from them first, so no one else can sort of play games and say, oh, your son's nearly there, but I'll get him in if you give me some money. So it's to prevent that kind of thing.
Good again,
and
watch
of course,
that.
it's nice that their parents hear them first. It's always a little bit sad when the parents don't pick up and they're waiting agonisingly for their parents to answer the phone.
Look at that smile.
Mama. I just called my father. He just crying on the other side of phone. They were so happy. I know.
With their new recruits assembled, Gurkha Company waste no time. The boys' own clothes will now be sent back to their families. They'll need a whole new wardrobe in the British Army.
Heck yeah.
they have to get all their kit and equipment. So it's like a big Christmas day. So as you can see on the table, they are the Christmas father, and then they are getting a bunch of bag. Green. We don't know.
This is probably a dumb question. So is it only the army they can join then? Like they could never be a Royal Marine?
I guess not. Maybe Gurkhas are only army.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It sounds like it probably is that way.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Father, and then they are getting a bunch of bag. Green. We don't know who's gonna be selected, and we don't know the sizes. So now we'll take them to the room, and then if there's a big or small, we try to sort it out within the group.
So it's like a big swapping session.
Yes.
And inevitably all the big guys will end up with a small kit.
Yeah, it will happen, yeah.
Next up, a trip to the barber and the tailor.
You feel like you are a part of our army.
You are?
Without wearing these suits, you are no longer civilian.
What was the hardest part of selection for you?
For me, it was a 2400 meter running race, BFT, because since I'm a grown up all in the city, I haven't run that much. So for me to pass only, it was very hard. But I have trained hard with my friend. Then I have succeeded and passed.
The new recruits are inoculated, fitted for their Virtus body armour, and measured for their civvy outfits, known as the mufti. Camp quickly becomes awash with ironing boards and boot polish.
Oh yeah.
And mirror space is very much at a premium.
That's awesome.
The recruits keep none of their old belongings. Everything is new.
The Gurkha tie. This is a special tie. You can't find. I don't think you can find it in.
We cannot buy
markets,
it. We cannot buy it.
Yeah, it's a specially designed tie for Gurkhas.
And so it's used only on special occasions, I think.
That made me sad. He's like, you can't buy it. You can't buy it. He's like, they said they're so used to everything having to be bought.
Yeah.
So
that they can buy their way in.
Yeah, and even just like, you know, if they could, they would, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me sad. My dad, the U.S. Marine, would have loved these men and loved this information.
Yeah.
He would have loved this and been so respectful to them.
Check out their logo, though. It's like 2 swords.
Oh, that is sick.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
That's sick. All right. That's so cool. I didn't notice that.
Shampoo.
Soaps. We have our razor kits.
Usually the Mongols don't really grow
Mongols
mustache. Mongolians
don't really have beard or mustache.
Yeah, you will eventually.
It's very rare in our case, man.
The exciting I am because son is always better than father because of the time they improve. So this intake will be better than last intake straight away. Son is always better than father. My son will be better than me straight away.
पछाडी चाहिँ हात राख्दाखेरि चाहिँ तिम्रो चाहिँ मेक श्योर तिम्रो चाहिँ यो पाम चाहिँ क्रस गरेको हुनु पर्यो हुन्छ अनि यहाँनिर चाहिँ कुनै खालको चाहिँ स्लिट हुनु भएन.
One of the most important new challenges this week is drill lesson 1. In a few days' time, they must parade in front of dignitaries and their families.
That's
and
awesome.
Everyone wants it to be perfect.
Yeah, proud they gotta be.
Make sure front rank चाहिँ make sure के हो तिमीले चाहिँ 45 डिग्री एंगलमा चाहिँ हेरेको हुनु पर्यो बुझ्यो फेरि गोर्खा कम्पनी भन्छु त्यहाँबाट फेरि के हो पोजिसन अफ एटेन्सनमा आउने ओके गोर्खा कम्पनी.
It's all about the legacy, our tradition. 15 years ago, I was like them. And then one of my section commander, his name is Captain Dr. Sesson. I am his legacy. So he teaches me everything, how to survive, how to do the things in army. And I'm doing the same thing to these boys. So maybe after a few years later, so one of these boys will stand in front of this place, and then probably he will say the same. The legacy will go on and on and on. But they will always remember us, and we will also remember them.
Love it.
The recruits have just a week to get to grips with the basics before they fly to the UK.
Okay.
There's a lot to learn, and they'll need their new comrades, their numries, to help them out every step of the way.
Where in UK? I might be finding out.
Instructors from Gurkha Company in Yorkshire's Catterick Garrison await the arrival of their new recruits.
Yorkshire.
Oh yes, everyone is looking forward for this day.
Because Gurkha Company would have been quite quiet, won't it?
It is, yeah, it is quite quiet when the boys are not in the camp around me.
Soon enough, they appear, safe into this foreign land, which from now on will be their home.
It's really unknown area when you come into the UK. When I recall my memories, it's exciting as well as a bit daunting as well. You don't know what's coming up. So a bit excited, and on the other hand, you're away from your families as well.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of emotion in your mind going through.
But is Yorkshire where they're staying?
Yeah,
or
is
just
that
where
their-
they came in?
Yeah, is that their base?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments because this is almost over and I don't think it's going to be said in 20 seconds. This is just the coolest thing ever.
It's been a long journey to get
It's
here.
not Manchester Airport.
Years of training, months of tests, examinations and
Yeah,
interviews.
months.
But this is only the beginning. They will fight for this country and this queen now. A job that will change their own future and the fortunes of their families.
That was abrupt.
That was
crazy.
awesome.
I was stupid cool.
So informative.
It was, and it was really kind of emotional for me. You know?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That's why my dad joined the United States Marines. You know, and I didn't realize that that's why it was hitting me like that. He grew up in a very poor part of Kentucky. And his family didn't have much of anything really at all. And so he joined the Marines to, you know, get a better life. And yeah,
I did.
So I can feel some feelings again in my body here, some emotions, because he talked to me about that. And yeah, I know what it meant to him. So you know, this is a whole different situation too. You live in a country that's so poverty stricken, and you know, everybody's trying to make a buck off you. You know, and you're just looked at like nothing. And then you have the British military that's like, you know what? You're more than nothing. You're something. You're something amazing, in fact. And we want you with us. We think you're something great. Whew.
And then they take the best of the best. I mean, that just right there shows why the Gurkhas are so tough, strong. They're dedicated. They want to be there.
I just love the love between both countries there, and just the military, how it's just helping them out so much. And then they're fighting with their lives for you guys, for us. So God bless the Gurkhas for real. I mean, God bless them. Oh man, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone would watch this, but that would be a really amazing thing if we found out in the comments.
Right?
If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We're always going to pay our respects and homage and our thank yous to the military. And I appreciate everybody for telling us about this. It's been, like I said, many months ago that was brought up. We were always going to get to it. It just took some time. But this was a great watch and something to learn about. And let us know if you'd like us to do further videos on the Gurkhas. I would like to learn more.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah. So please let us know if you would. And if you have a link, you can stick it in the comments here. That'd be more helpful for us because we don't really know what to look up.
Right.
So, but I'm really thankful that we got to see this and learn about these amazing men. These men are heroes.
Absolutely heroes.
And again, the British military, the are too. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, go back to the beginning of the video if you didn't catch it for the announcement we had given. Because, see, I would just say it again, but no, you got to go back and watch it again. It's an important announcement for next week. But thanks for watching. And just again, as always, when you see a veteran, always say thank you.
Yeah.
At the least.
Yeah.
But until we see you tomorrow, that's just like a minute away. We'll see you tomorrow. So between now and tomorrow, love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.